Hey guys, we have an anime channel called Mystic Sage, where I do a lot of anime stuff. If you like anime, consider checking it out. I will leave a link for that and for the most recent video I posted down in the description below and in the icon above. We also have merch on sale if any of these shirts look cool to you, like Shepherd's Delight. Go check that out in the description as well. Gym leaders. They are some of the toughest trainers out there to face off against. I remember as a kid, I really had struggles against some of these top-notch trainers. They gave me a really hard time as a kid, and even still do now in some cases. What really made them hard though, were some of these leaders' ace Pokemon, or what fans consider to be their strongest. Today, I wanted to shed some light on the strongest Pokemon I have ever seen a gym leader own. How I will be ranking these Pokemon will not be based on levels, because if that were the case, I would be including all of the 8th gym leaders. I will be ranking these Pokemon from a how much trouble they gave me perspective, or to the general Pokemon player. In some cases, I might even include Pokemon from a single team in a certain game rather than just their overall presence. For example, Candice's Froslass from Pokemon Platinum. But yeah, I think you guys know how I'm going to be ranking these mons, so let's jump right into the list. Now starting off this list, I have a Pokemon that gave me trouble that's kind of embarrassing, and that's Charon's Lillipup. Now, I'll bet you're probably shaking your heads asking, how in the heck did a Lillipup give you trouble? The simple answer is workup. I remember as a kid, this Pokemon just set up 2 workups every time and I died. It was literally workup, potion, rinse, and repeat, and I whited out so many times because of this. Yes, I'm more that Riolu at Falcasea Ranch exists, but maybe people don't want to use Riolu. I mean, hey, I used it one time and it was a great Pokemon for my team. I don't think people want to use it every time to get past a certain Pokemon. Another option is to evolve Tepig into Pignite. By then though, it's overkill. Charon's Lillipup is beatable, it just takes a little bit of patience. My girlfriend just recently was playing through Pokemon Black and White 2, and she started with Oshawott. She had a little trouble as well, so I don't feel as embarrassed. I had to help her beat it too. We eventually got it after around 5 tries though. It's a little toughy, that Lillipup, but there are tougher Pokemon on this list. We've only just begun. At our number 9 spot, we have one of the most quintessential hard gym leader Pokemon, being Whitney's Miltank. Now don't get me wrong, Whitney's Miltank can give you some problems if you're not well prepared. Its move across the generations are devastating and unforgiving. Stomp can make you flinch, a Track will stop your male Pokemon from attacking 50% of the time, Milk Drink will heal back a large portion of the damage you deal with it, and the infamous Rollout will just build up over time and really put a hurting on you. Now with that said, it's not an impossible Pokemon to beat by any means. You can easily get a Machop right before her gym in the Goldenrod department store by trading off a Drowsy in Gold, Silver, and the remix, or an Abra and Crystal version. Now again, some of these moves will still cause you some problems if you don't overlevel a little, but ultimately you should be able to handle it well enough. While I personally don't believe Miltank is the strongest Pokemon owned by a gym leader, I will say I can see how she's caused so many problems for people over the years. At number 8, we have the Psychic type gym leader of Kanto, Sabrina. You may be familiar with her ranking on my Kanto gym leader list from a few weeks ago, so it may be surprising to see her this low. But we're talking about one Pokemon here instead of an entire team. And while it may be her strongest, I don't believe it is the strongest. With that said, it's still on this list for a reason. Psychic typings have always been a wonderful type, so her Alakazam across the generations has always been beastie. But the one that really gets my goat is her Gen 1 Alakazam. Given that Psychic Pokemon are only weak to bug type moves in this generation, you practically have no options to take it head on. However, you can definitely hinder with a second Pokemon of your own, or if you've watched the Best Team series, a chunky Snorlax can get the job done. Just remember, Snorlax is fat and has a great special, so it's your official Alakazam killer. Regardless though, Alakazam is fierce, so be careful. Oh man, I think a lot of Pokemon fans can remember how tough Bugsy's Scyther was back in the day in both his Gen 2 team and Gen 4 team. In Generation 2, even with Kolava or a Flyer, I will admit I had a little bit of trouble with Scyther's Fury Cutter. Fury Cutter is an attack that does double damage every time it lands, but that's not as hard as his Scyther in Heart Gold and Soul Silver. In these games, Bugsy has access to U-Turn, and U-Turn is a 70 base power attack that switches Scyther out every time it lands U-Turn off. This pivot switching strategy from Bugsy is so darn annoying, like, oh my god, I raged so much whenever I lost to him. It's just such an annoying strategy, and it's what made Scyther very difficult for me and for some other Pokemon fans that struggle with it as well. Missy takes to 6th place with her Starmie from her Generation 1 in 3 appearances. If you harken back to when we talked about Missy's place on the Kanto Gym Leader easiest to hardest rankings, you'd know I found her to be a very hefty challenge, and her Starmie is a big part of it. In Pokemon Yellow, her Starmie has Tackle, Water Gun, Bubble Beam, and Harden, giving her a set of moves that will dominate any fire, rock, or ground types that head enter her gym, as well as a normal type move to hit grass and water types as well. Basically, if you pick Bulbasaur, Squirtle, or Charmander, there will be a move that Starmie can hit you with. The only real saving grace that makes Starmie beatable is that it has no second type attack, so something like Ivysaur can still have a chance against her in a battle regardless of its poison typing. Regardless though, in Generation 1, it makes great use of its special and speed stats to give any Pokemon that isn't overleveled a hard time, and beating it won't be easy unless you have something like a Pikachu on your side. Remember, even while it's only level 21, Starmie's base special attack is 100 and speed is 115. It'll be a tough challenge in just a regular playthrough that early in the game. Starting off the second half of this list, we have Morty's Gengar, primarily in Generation 4. In Generation 2, Morty's Gengar is still a threat, but due to ghost type attacks being physical, it's not as bad. Do not sleep on Gengar at all though, literally, because if you get put to sleep by hypnosis, Gengar will use Dream Eater on you. Getting put to sleep is super annoying, regardless, because you are literally immobile for so many turns. Gengar pretty much has you by the Pokeballs when your Pokemon is asleep. This only gets more terrorizing in the remakes though, because Shadow Ball is special in this generation. So this Gengar now has the power of an 80 base power special attack, ghost type attack. There is some good psychic Pokemon you can use against Gengar, sure, but those Shadow Balls can really hurt you if you're not careful. Girafarig is your best bet against Morty's Gengar because of its normal typing, but if you're a Crystal player, then you're out of luck because Girafarig is not available. So I guess just use Espeon. Gengar is scary though, no pun intended. Here at number 4, we're going to be looking at the ace of the final gym leader in Johto, Claire's Kendra. Specifically, we'll take a look at Claire's Kendra in Heart Gold and Soul Silver. In Generation 4, Kendra is the only non-legendary Pokemon with the water and dragon typing, and it gets the luxury of only being weak to dragon types. With that being said, there's a pretty good chance in Heart Gold and Soul Silver, you don't actually have a dragon type of your own when going up against Claire. You'll already be playing catch-up from there since the only moves you'll be able to use against her are neutral damaging. Kendra is level 41 and carries Smokescreen, Hydro Pump, Dragon Pulse, and Hyper Beam. Kendra has 95 base stats in everything but HP and speed, and the speed stat is still pretty high at 85 itself as well. Albeit you'll be pretty set in the late game since Claire is the final gym leader in Johto. It'll still be a big challenge to take out a Pokemon that you more than likely can't hit for any sort of super effective damage. Also, if you're able to pick away at Kendra enough, it has a Citrus Berry that will restore most of its health anyway. If you don't head into battle with a Pokemon that has a dragon type move or it's pretty much over leveled, you may need multiple tries to topple this dragon. In the top 3, we have a Pokemon that you may not expect, and that is Lenora's Watchhog. Now hear me out on this one, because it really is a brutal Pokemon early on. It'll be the last Pokemon she sends out after her Herdier, which opens you right up to a boosted Stab Retaliate. Retaliate, in case you guys didn't know, is an attack that does double damage upon the turn one of your Pokemon faints. So if you have a Pokemon that faints prior, your next Pokemon is going to get smacked hard. It's really going to hurt you unless you're immune to or resist normal type attacks. Though at that point in Pokemon Black and White, I'm sure you won't have a ghost type. If that's not bad enough, Watchhog will also use Hypnosis to put you to sleep, which is both annoying and just leaves you open to getting wailed on. It has Leer to lower your defense and Crunch, which is a very strong move to face off against so early on. Crunch even has an opportunity to lower your defense as well, which really can mess with you. Watchhog is definitely quite annoying to deal with, and can mess you up pretty badly unless you prepare yourself for it specifically. Nearly wrapping up this list, we have Tate and Liza's Claydol from Pokemon Emerald. Now usually Tate and Liza are relatively easy because they only have their Solrock and Lunatone. One surf and it's pretty much game over for these two. In Pokemon Emerald though, that is not the case because Claydol has Light Screen and it halves all the damage from any special attacks that hit Tate and Liza's Pokemon. Oh, and if you want to use Earthquake, yeah, no, that's not going to work, bud, because Tate and Liza's entire team has Levitate. They're practically immune to any attacks that are super effective against them because all those attacks are special. Plus Claydol also has Ancient Power, and that attack has the chance to increase all of its stats by 1 stage. With special attacks being halved and it making your time against Tate and Liza that much harder, I definitely think this Pokemon deserves to be at the top of this list. I honestly think Claydol makes Tate and Liza's Emerald team one of the hardest gym leaders ever. Now it's finally time to get to the absolute hardest Pokemon that a gym leader has, that being Flannery's Torkoal in Pokemon Emerald. Its moveset is absolutely staggering for a fire type at this point in the game. Overheat, Sunny Day, Body Slam, and Attract. The biggest issue here is you're dealing with a Pokemon that can beat you in all different ways. Overheat is base 130 power, and when you combine the stab it gets boosted from, it's going to one-hit almost anything. Torkoal has a White Herb as well, which will get rid of the first status drop that Overheat forces it to deal with. Plus, if Sunny Day, not only will water type attacks be weakened, but also Overheat becomes even more powerful. Attract is just the icing on the cake, because if you think it's annoying with Whitney's Miltank, it'll be even worse with Torkoal. Body Slam will hurt a lot too, and there's even a 30% chance it will paralyze a target. Torkoal even has 140 base defense, so most rock and ground type attacks won't hit it so hard. Want to lower its stats in any way? Well, you're going to be out of luck because it has White Smoke, and prevents that from ever happening. Torkoal is without a doubt the most difficult gym Pokemon to take on across all 6 generations of gym leaders. While it could be easy to beat if you're extremely overleveled, it's going to be a true challenge for any normal player of the game. Well, that pretty much wraps up this top 10 list. All of these gym leaders Pokemon really made me throw my Game Boy or DS on the floor as a kid, and even a little bit till now. They challenged me and made me pretty angry at the time, but hey, I appreciate a challenge, so thanks Pokemon for doing that. Gym leaders aces definitely make gym battles a lot more interesting, and I appreciate how powerful Game Freak made these aces out to be. What do you guys think though? What Pokemon do you think are the most powerful Pokemon owned by gym leaders? Let me know down below. If you enjoyed the video, why not leave a like and subscribe to my channel with notifications on, that way you never miss an upload. I also have an anime channel called Mystic Sage where I create a bunch of anime speculations and reviews, so if you like anime content, consider checking that out. If you want to support me further, consider following my Twitch where I stream a lot of Pokemon content and Nintendo content like Shiny Hunting, Showdown Battles, Explorers of Sky, Zelda, Fire Emblem, Smash Brothers, Borderlands, you name it, I play it. Want to support me further in Game Club perks? Check out my Patreon. Daniel Leone, Lady Crimson, Pal491, The Lazy Leo, Matthew Young, Awesome Lego, Jarrett Weezosted, and Sodden Grider did, and I want to thank them personally for going above and beyond. It means the world to me. I think I'm gonna wrap this up though. I'm Mr. Gumbrian, and I will see you in the future for more awesome Pokemon content.